Hey there, Willowbrook, and Happy New Year. Thanks for doing daily devos with us. I was looking through some of my kids' old things, and I came across a book that we used to read to our kids. So we read it very purposely because it had a lesson in it. It talked about interrupting. In fact, the book's called My Mouth is a Volcano, and in the book, it actually says this. It says, words just pop into my head. They slide down onto my tongue. My tummy starts to rumble and then it starts to grumble. My words begin to wiggle and then they do the jiggle. My tongue pushes all of my important words up against my teeth and then I erupt. Words just explode out of my mouth. My mouth is a volcano. I love this book because it's a fun, funny way to talk to our kids about how we deal with our words, particularly those words that feel like they just have to come out. And there are times when that's really inappropriate, and then there's other times when we should feel more like our words have to come out. And I thought about that book as I was reading our passage for today. Today we are in John chapter 1, verses 43 through 51. It's the passage that talks about when Jesus is calling some of his disciples, particularly Philip and Nathanael. But I don't want you to miss something really rich here. It says, starting in verse 43, the next day Jesus decided to leave for Galilee, and he found Philip and told him, "Follow me." Now Philip was from Bethsaida, the hometown of Andrew and Peter. Check this out. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and so did the prophets, Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth." Do you see what happened there? Philip was called by Jesus. And then Philip had to go find Nathanael because he had to tell him about Jesus, who they had found. I bet that you've experienced something like my mouth is a volcano. Think times where it was all you could do to bite your tongue or not write that comment on social media or you were just so compelled. But I wonder, do you feel that same compulsion when it comes to telling people about Jesus? Do you have to tell them? Is your mouth like a volcano that can't stop the words from telling people about what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've experienced in your relationship with Jesus? In Acts chapter 4, there's actually a verse that I have read over and over and over and found so much conviction from it because it's about Peter and John, and they're told to not talk about Jesus. And this is what they say in verse 20. "For we are unable to stop speaking about what we have seen and what we have heard." Philip, he couldn't wait to tell Nathanael about what he had found. Jesus had found him, and then he had to go find Nathanael. I want you to think about those moments when you can barely keep your words in. What are those about? Are they about making sure that your opinion is heard, that people know what's happening in your life, you're maybe even topping somebody's story? Or are those moments about when you can't wait to tell people about what you've seen and what you've heard when it comes to your relationship with Jesus? If you can't say that, would you spend some time asking God to stir up within you these things? And make sure that you're experiencing and noticing, and you're aware of how Jesus is working around you, because I promise you he is. He's at work in your life. Pay attention, open your eyes, and I'm telling you that when you begin to really call out what you've seen and heard about Jesus, you won't be able to keep it to yourself. You'll have to go find somebody, and your mouth might just erupt when you have to tell somebody about Jesus. I hope that you'll have a happy Wednesday.